Coming into this film, I didn't necessarily know what I was going to get myself into. I didn't have high hopes for it, but however, I was just looking to have, an enjoyable time watching this film. And I'm talking Anne Hathaway's and Robert De Niro's The Intern. Now, The Intern is directed by Nancy Meyers. It stars Robert De Niro, Anne Hathaway, Rene Russo, on Anders Holm, Andrew Rannell, and Adam Devine. Adam Devine from Pitch Perfect, aka Bumper. It was actually a delight. He was actually a very delightful character in here. But there is problems with this film. And just to give you a little gist about what this is about, Robert De Niro is 70 years old. He sees a flyer. It's for an internship for Anne Hathaway's. She's the big boss. She's running the company, really. She's not CEO, but she's damn near close. And basically, her company wants to try to get elderly folks so they can look good. You need people like elderly people. They could still work and stuff. And it's so funny when Robert De Niro, who plays Ben in this film, when he first comes in, everybody's like, they realize he's like very old. They treat him like a child, honestly. You know how they treat like really old people. They think he loses his hearing, or he's not all there, or maybe the process is too fast for him. Like some things he had a little trouble with, with the computer and everything. But man, Ben was a hardworking man. He worked for the factory for a factory for 40 years, and that ties in at some point during the film. I'm not gonna, of course, it's not spoiler review. However, yeah, Ben, you think this is a fish out of water film? It's not. Ben knows his shit. He knows what he's doing. He's very, he's all business. He has a suit. He wears a suit. Everybody's casual in this environment he's in, and it's like a clothing type. Where Anne Hathaway's character, who she plays Jules, basically runs the whole website and runs pretty much the whole shebang. It's really like a clothing industry type deal going on right there. And Jules is a busybody. She's, it's the same story you've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of times before. She's just very busy. She's, she has a family. I don't think I should. Yeah, no, I don't think that's really spoiling anything. She has a family. And because that's like the heart of the film, basically, is her family and her family, her relation to her family and her being away from them all the time. I mean, she's constantly busy. She doesn't allow people to help her out. She likes to handle it herself. So when she gets assigned Robert De Niro, this new intern, she just brushes him off. And even though Robert De Niro is liked through the whole, everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. Everybody asks for his advice. And then you see the relationship between Jules and Ben really start coming together. And that's what I liked about this film. I really thought Robert De Niro, sometimes you could tell he's just like, why am I here? But in this film, he actually was very enjoyable. And, you can't take Robert De Niro. This is good roles for him. All right. This is a good role for him as well. I felt like he was definitely used very well in this film. I thought his chemistry with Anne Hathaway was great as well. Overall, those two really made the film. However, there's a few characters in here, side characters, supporting characters that are not too bad, but everybody else is just it's bad. Everybody else is not very good actor or actress, and everybody's just so happy-go-lucky, and it just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel realistic, even though it's not. It's trying to set the mood very happy, very not so gloomy. This film is not very gloomy, and when it does get gloomy and it does hit those things that you just seen thousands and thousands of times, being over the head. Even at one point, Anne Hathaway even says that out loud, tells the audience, "Yeah, you're pretty much seen this before." I mean, I was kind of sick and tired of that. I didn't want it to go that way. I was looking for at least a little bit of twists and turns along the way. At least something that, just not the safe route. But it didn't go that way. And I gotta say, man, especially when it's long. It feels so long to me. It's about how long would it be? It's about 121 minutes long. I think the editing is bad. I think the editing is pretty bad in here. I think there's a lot of scenes where I'm like, why is that scene in there? They could have cut that out and it would have been a smooth transition. The audience would have got, there wasn't really anything in these scenes that to offer to push the storyline further. I know what you're trying to do, but when you're not really caring about some supporting characters, it really doesn't work. So, and then there was one particular scene that's supposed to be a joke in the film where it has to do with Robert De Niro and his new crew, basically, and alarm system. I thought that scene was just so it was cheesy, corny, and it didn't work. I mean, it realized like how why this scene would never work. This scene would never work, or this would never happen. So there is problems with this film, and the real problem is that editing. You could have cut this down so much, and the writing's not that great. The writing, like they try to push this one conflict on you, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You don't care. You don't really necessarily need it in there as well. I think you really just want to focus on Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway, and the things that they do. Sometimes it's good, but then sometimes it's like they don't know what to do with them. Well, they're at one point they're just like, it's music in the background, it's laughing, it's giggling, but overall you're just like, okay, do something. You just don't do the Star Wars prequels thing where you just have somebody sit down and just conversate and about things that you're not necessarily interested in. But however, like I said, this film it wasn't too bad. It's not. I wouldn't waste my money on watching it in a big screen. However, if it's on TV, I think this is definitely a great watch for TV. If you're sitting down, you got nothing else to do, why not? And I think this demographic would cater to, I think, the elderly as well. I think the elderly will like it around the late 20s, 30s, and definitely the elderly. It feels like it's a film kind of made for them. It's kind of, I don't want to say just for them. There's some movies that the elderly care for or care to, or I see a lot of people, elderly people really like. And I think one of them was The Judge. The Judge, definitely, there was a lot of elderly people and they loved that film. But this one, it was okay. It was okay. I'm neutral about it. It's not something I would like to pay to go see in a movie theater, but I would sit down and watch. So I don't recommend The Intern if you want to go watch it in the theater, but I do recommend it if you do want to sit down and if it's ever on a cable network, because it feels like a cable network movie. It feels like one of those kind of like generic come two opposite types of people coming together. But like I said, Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway once again do a good job, but some of the things that I think the writing and the editing are poorly done, and sometimes the music doesn't fit very well as well. So that's all I got to say. Thank you guys for listening. I am Dan Man, aka Daniel's son. Please subscribe. I have many other videos and a lot of film reviews, also TV reviews, anime reviews, whatever you like. And like the video, well, if you like it. And like I always say, guys, grab a tick, grab a seat, make sure you got some good popcorn to eat. I'll see you at the cinema. Bye, guys.